to Degrassi, the class of nostalgia.
I looked at the wrong camera.
I'm Michaela. I feel like usually you say it first. I was like, I'm Michaela.
I'm Amber.
And today we're going to be talking about... Oh, I forgot you doing it. I was like, why are we doing it together?
I'm saying, am I supposed to? Did you end up looking at the last video to see if... Oh, okay, well, today we're going to talk about Jiberty.
Jiberty, and I made a little collage. Okay, I was like, oh my god, it looked like Shark in the Water on the camera. I was like, no.
Uh-oh. Wrong episode.
Today we're talking about Jiberty, yes.
Yeah.
I love JT, love Liberty, I love Jiberty.
Put them together, Jiberty.
Like peanut butter and jelly.
Is it like that close though? Peanut butter and jelly?
Oh, not like the word. I don't know. I thought about peanut butter and jelly.
More like chicken and fries.
Oh, that's a good one too. Because I was thinking like people love peanut butter, people love jelly. And, like love them together.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like you said, that's how close they was.
Oh no, I was like, if that makes sense. But yes, we're talking about Jiberty. And it's as per usual, Amber had nothing prepared. And for the first time, I have nothing prepared. So we just gonna be...
What?
Well, I thought of stuff, but I didn't write nothing down because I was like, Amber ain't...
Piggyback off of you.
And I was like, Amber ain't gonna write nothing down, so I gotta write something down. So I'm just like,
okay, so
off the top of the dome.
We're gonna think about this logically.
Exactly. We're gonna go based off
I feel like our
thoughts.
Best bet. Oh, you said thoughts. I feel like our best bet is to do the timeline, but yeah, that's good. That's good too.
Oh, we can do the timeline. So starting on basically season 1, episode 1 of Degrassi, The Next Generation.
Ooh. That's when they were young,
little babies. When did Liberty even show up? Was it? I don't even know if she was on the first episode. Was she on the second episode?
No, because they wasn't even in school on the first episode.
Yeah, they was doing the reunion from the last series, which we still haven't watched yet. We're gonna eventually watch it, hopefully. But yeah, I'm trying to think of when Liberty was introduced. I know Liberty was like Ashley's right hand man, right hand woman. But yeah, her first episode, like, that's centered around her, I feel like it has something to do with JT. Probably.
Either that or when she was trying to go for the announcements, like the hair person.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But her first interaction with JT was when they had to do a project together or something.
Oh, yeah, he was like, hey, Liberty girlfriend. He
was trying to act like she had a crush. Yeah, when he had a crush on her.
And
but she had a crush on him, sorry.
I feel like this, I was like, oh my god, I gotta talk about this in the podcast. Because this is one episode that I, like, vaguely remember, so I'm trying my best to remember. But it was like a really cute episode because at this point, I think this was after the whole, like, he pretended to be gay thing to try to get away from Liberty. And so JT had I'm assuming accidentally, signed up for like a fashion design or sewing class. And then Liberty joined it on purpose. And they go, oh, this is going to be easy. I'm going to get an easy A, whatever. And JT actually ended up like naturally being good at sewing. And Liberty was like, no, this is not for me. And so the teacher was like, oh, y'all should partner up. I don't think this is the same episode where he was like pretending to be gay, so that's why I said don't come at me if I'm saying the wrong thing, but I believe those were 2 separate episodes. And so basically on the episode, JT had pretended that he was doing that he did what Liberty did, and Liberty pretended she did what JT did.
Yeah,
like
they used to getting a subpar grades while
Liberty
used to getting A's all the time.
So they switched projects every time so that JT wouldn't look, which is funny, he wouldn't look gay even though he pretended to be gay for Liberty. I don't understand it. But basically that's what they was doing, and then the teacher ended up finding out like that they were swapping grades because I think it was already known that Liberty was horrible at sewing and JT was already knowing that he was really good at sewing. So I feel like that was really dumb. Mm-hmm. But the reason why I bring it up for Jiberty, because I feel like that's really when JT at least like opened up to her, let her in a little bit, at least was friendly to her, because at first he was trying to pretend he didn't like her. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like that's the first time I really seen them interact in at least a friendly way. because I don't feel like Liberty was trying to be like, oh, I want to be with JT, and JT wasn't like, oh my gosh, get away from me, Liberty, you freaking me out, you know? Yeah. So that's really what I feel like their relationship, not romantic, but their relationship in general, I feel like that's when it started.
I feel like that's also when it started, and it's so funny because when you are somebody who don't really get like really good grades in school, you usually do better and more creative stuff.
Yeah.
Just like if you're like super smart, you don't do so well in creative stuff. So it's kind of funny that happened. I mean, of course, the teacher gonna know that because she's a teacher.
Exactly. I think it's a male teacher.
Oh.
I think it was.
I don't know why I was thinking about Miss Kwan for some reason.
Exactly. Miss Kwan was such a good teacher.
I feel like she was in every subject. Heathen. My bad, whoever the teacher was.
I don't think it was a reoccurring teacher either. I think it's just like a one-time teacher on the show.
Oh, okay.
And
never remember those.
Do you feel like it was a moment that, you know, you feel like Jiberty really... Because, like, I can think of another one. I don't remember these episodes. I just remember, like, scenes. I remember it was the episode where Liberty had to read in front of the class or something. Mm-hmm. And she wrote a poem about JT, and JT was, like, freaked out. But, you know, he liked the attention. But I can't remember if that was before or after the sewing class.
I think it was before, because that's probably the reason why he did the whole gay thing, because of that poem.
Probably.
But don't quote me on that.
Oh, I say, yeah, I can't. The older episodes, I feel like all the storylines kind of blend together. Like, I can't be like, season 2, episode 3 was when this happened. Like, I can't, whereas for season 10 or, like, after, mostly because we really started watching new episodes when those came out. So I can be like, this happened on this episode in this season.
And Liberty and JT wasn't on those seasons.
Yeah, so, like, season 1 through 8. Oh, my God, this is
I think that's when the season that JT died was 8, wasn't it?
No, I think it was 6. Because Jane wasn't... I remember it was season 6. Like I said, I can't remember what episode. I remember it was season 6 because, you know, they always play that episode for some reason. Y'all don't want to play the episodes that was all pivotal, but y'all want to keep playing the episode where JT dies. Like, yeah, let's keep traumatizing these kids. But,
traumatic childhood.
Yeah, I remember it was like, and I remember the name of the episode too. I think it was called Rock This Town or something. But yeah, I can't tell you what episode number it was. I remember it was season 6, and I believe it was called Rock This Town. But yeah, season 1 through 8. I don't know why that was really weird that we both said 8. But 8, I feel like season 1 through 8. I can't tell you any episodes specifically. I can't tell you when Mia started because you know she has a. You said season 4. That seemed kind of early.
I'm just guessing.
Well, when did it be like season 5?
Sav was like a really baby face Sav. So.
No, I don't even think Sav was in season 4.
5, man.
Yeah, it had to be 5 or 6 because that's when Lakehurst. Because they all came from Lakehurst. I feel like
there's no way Mia started in season 6 because that means her and JT's relationship was super quick. And I think they broke up. So I feel like it had to be season 5 where they were together and season 6 when they broke up.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying I don't think it was season 4. I was thinking it was season 5. Because I think he died season 6. Yeah. And they were together before Lakehurst, you know, came to the school.
That's weird to me if that Eric was high school. Eric didn't do happen so quick in high school.
Oh, I was like, wow.
But, I mean, it's just weird to me. Oh, I come into school. I be with JT. Oh, we broke up. And that's all in 2 seasons.
But I don't think she came. I think they dated before she started at Degrassi.
Really?
I think so. When I don't know, because I don't remember when JT and Mia
at school.
Because when remember they met at his little children's show that he was doing.
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Because I don't think Sav and Holly J and Anya, like all of them, I don't even think they was on the show yet when Mia was on the show. So that's what I'm assuming. But see, that's what always confuses me. I don't think Mia was on at Degrassi yet, but I feel like I remember her trying out for the cheerleading team when Manny and Darcy were like the co-captains, okay. I feel like she tried out for the cheerleading squad, but then she ended up saying, I can't do it because I got kids. But then the next season was when Holly J and Anya, or Holly J, somebody else was the coach or the co-captain, and she tried out and she said I could do it. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if maybe Mia didn't go to Lakehurst. Maybe she just knew a bunch of people because her baby daddy was from Lakehurst.
I feel like she was. I think this is what happened.
Yeah.
Don't quote me.
Exactly.
And then we'll be done with Mia after this, unless you got something to say.
Well, we gotta talk about Mia because we're going in the timeline. We haven't even gotten to Tia yet.
This is about Jiberty, not stupid Mia, but
okay.
I think this is what happened. Okay, so you know how Lakehurst had that whole was it fire?
I think so. Their school burned down or something.
Yeah,
like that.
so
some crap.
I think before that, Mia transferred to Degrassi anyway.
Oh,
so I think that's why she was there before they were there, and that's why she already knew them because she already was transferring to Degrassi, and then Lakehurst just all of a sudden exploded.
That makes sense, to be honest, because I feel like Mia was at Degrassi before Lakehurst got there, but she knew everybody from Lakehurst. So I'm like, something not adding up. But
because
that
her
kind
baby
of makes
daddy
sense.
was Jane's brother.
Yeah, I don't understand
weird.
how they came from the same family, but to be honest, with Jane's dad, it kind of makes sense. But then I don't know that we ain't gonna talk about Jane yet. But she gonna get her own episode.
Yeah, that's so weird because Jane's brother disappeared after that, right?
I don't think it was after that episode. I think, but he didn't. Cause remember, after JT died, he was there, and him and Liberty had that whole fight.
Oh yeah, okay, never mind.
That might have been his last scene. That's the only time I can remember him being there after. But that might have been before Jane's episode, to be honest.
It's true.
But okay, getting back to Jiberty. So I feel like after that, they really was just friendly, and then they had that whole little thing when JT was dating Manny. And then Liberty had a crush on Sean, and then ended up dating the other dude who was like not even really there.
Oh, you talking about his friend?
Yeah.
That was in love with Liberty.
Exactly.
I feel like more obsessed.
Yeah, he was kind of creepy. I was like, at first I thought it was cute, but then it was like kind of creepy by the end of the episode. But, Liberty finally got her first boyfriend. I'm kind of glad because...
she broke up with him probably super quick. Like, oh, you too clinky. I can't do it.
I like how... Liberty got to have a boyfriend before JT just because, I don't know, I feel like me as an example, I don't really, date or anything, but I feel like it's probably good to have some sort of first kind of relationship, because I don't know a lot of people who just like went in their first relationship and then they stay with that person forever. I know that's a possibility, that's a thing. And so, but I don't know. I feel like you gotta kind of try.
Those people are different breeds, whoever do that.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm going to end up being with one person and then probably, because I don't know, I feel like it depends, like you just said, depending on what kind of person you are. I'm kind of lazy. If I find somebody that I feel like I click with, I don't see the point in, of course there's other stuff that's to it in a relationship, but I just mean, at that point, if I can be around you a lot, you make me laugh, and I just like, oh,
take notes, fellas.
But if all of that adds up, what will be the point? I'd rather at least try to make that relationship work than be like, okay, now I'm gonna go out and try to find a whole nother person and then not get along with them. Now I want to be around them 24/7 or just in general. Mm-hmm. Then it's like, okay, that defeats the purpose. But then at the same time, I do think it's kind of good to get out there, play the field a little bit. I'm just saying, whatever you want to do. But I'm just glad Liberty did have a relationship, because I didn't want it to make it seem like Liberty couldn't. Do y'all see Liberty? Look at her. So I don't want it to make it seem like, oh, Liberty can't get nobody, because we all know Liberty can get whoever she wants.
It's more like, it's not that she can't get nobody. It's just that her way of living, you got to understand her personality. Yeah. You got to be okay with it. And she is unapologetic, which I like about her, because she gonna be herself no matter what.
Exactly.
She don't care who you are.
Exactly. So yeah.
That's a good trait to have too, because some people out here is people pleasers in high school. For some reason.
Oh, you was pointing to yourself. I'm about to say, yeah, JT is kind of...
Oh, well, JT too. It's so funny because we was talking about not other day, but a while back, how I was like JT and you was like Liberty, as far as personality.
Oh yeah, we did on the little, because we did the Zodiac things on
yeah,
on TikTok.
I knew we had something.
because they said
Sagittarius, which I am.
Yeah.
That's JT, and
Liberty was Capricorn, but I still feel like me and Liberty kind of similar.
Yeah,
if
I
we
think
just going on
Liberty
personality
are similar anyway. Like y'all both smart and y'all both like strong-minded when it comes to y'all, just you in general, like you as a person.
Yeah, I love Liberty, so that's definitely a high compliment.
Liberty definitely would have been my friend in school.
I know, I keep talking about that on social media too. I keep being like, Liberty would definitely be our friend, like both of us, because I was like, I already know Amber feel the same way. Because, I don't know, I just feel like it's a lot of people like Liberty in school, and then there's not a lot of people like Liberty in school.
I met a lot of meanies.
Is that a good thing?
I mean, it was okay.
Oh, I was like, I met a lot of meanies. Like, isn't that a good?
I ain't had no issue. Meanies and alleys, a lot of them.
That's true. But, I guess after that, I feel like we should start talking about them being in a relationship. So, after all that,
let's
stuff
talk about
happened.
how romance flew.
Yeah. So, we all know.
It started with the play, wasn't it? The play they did.
Well, if we started from the start, it was when JT started having a crush on her, remember? Because he was having
dreams.
Tingly dreams about her.
Liberty.
And then Toby found out. I was like, oh, you got a crush on Liberty? He was like, don't be telling nobody that. You can be telling my business.
In the streets.
But yeah, it was the play. Because that's when they had their first kiss. I made sure to make that the center.
Yeah.
That's when they had their first kiss.
That's so cute.
It was, but he made it so weird. Then he said like my stomach. He was like, oh, my stomach feels all weird or something. I feel like they was made for each other because he was so weird. Like he tried to act like he wasn't. JT was so weird. He was like, oh, my stomach feels so. I don't even know what he said, but I know it was awkward because I was like, why would you say that?
I don't even remember what he said.
Somebody. But I just remember that I was like, okay. But at least the kiss was good. Like
I think
it looked
they
like
were
it was
trying
good.
to do a kid version of a.
Oh, probably. Why he say my stomach?
I have no idea. It's JT. He like went with it.
He really did. It was like I feel like JT's weirdness, cause like as a child, his weirdness was just like, oh, he was just acting like every other
clown.
Yeah, every other little boy at that time.
Little boy.
But when him and Liberty got together, it was just like, cause you could tell in between the time when they went from like middle school to high school and he was dating Manny or whatever, he was trying to be like the cool dude. Mm-hmm. Even though he was hanging out with Danny. I don't know if he was hanging out with Danny and Derek, but he was hanging out with Danny. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you thought that made you cool. And that's Liberty's brother. I feel like that was his way of trying to be like, that was kind of Degrassi subtle way of being like, they about to be together. Yeah. Cause like,
why do you keep saying stuff at the same time?
That one kind of felt, I feel like we both was thinking the same thing. That one was, the 1 through 8 thing was really weird. But that, I just feel like that kind of.
That's our minds, y'all. We do that a lot, by the way.
It's weird. Like, how is it that we are not the same age and we aren't twins?
People think we twins.
But our brains is collided. It's weird.
Yeah. Because we always around each other.
But, okay, so around this time, this is when they start dating. When did they even? Oh my god, they should have did like a first date thing, like they did with Sean and Ella.
Yeah, but they never like went on a first date. I don't think.
Yeah,
they just was together.
Like it was just like okay,
and
now
he was always
together.
Over her house. Because he didn't have a house. Because he was either over at Toby's house or her house.
But he was living with his grandma technically. Mm. But
and then Toby's family basically took him in after that.
Yeah, definitely probably after Ashley,
did her journey.
Kept going places. I was like, get this little child out of my house. But he's like, this woman's
But not gonna lie, when Ashley accepted that her dad was gay, she was like, I don't need to be here no more. I can be with my dad. I don't care about y'all.
That's kind of true. But it was like, I don't know. Ashley just was always in the.
But I don't think she never liked Toby's dad.
I don't think she did. She never really hung out with him. He was only there. It was like,
and
okay.
Toby's dad was cool. They should have showed Toby's dad more, I felt like.
Yeah, they did show Ashley's mom a lot.
Yeah, and she was alright.
Yeah, she was like...
we can tell what Ashley's personality came from. Let's just say.
Dang.
I mean, no hate. I'm just saying.
But I really like that they're or at least JT kind of got along with Liberty's family. Because I don't know if really Liberty and her family were close.
No.
I think they were close enough where it was like, you know, obviously her and her brother was close. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I think the parents must have been working all the time or something, because they was always over at Liberty's house. But I feel like it was enough for, because the dad knew, I don't know if he knew they were dating, but he knew JT was always there. So mm-hmm. obviously, they had to be close enough at least for that. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like that's another good thing, because a lot of, because like if you notice, Sean and Emma, Sean got really close to Mr. Simpson and to, like, why you look bad? Really got really close to Mr. Simpson and to Spike, and I feel like that really helped their relationship. And then I feel like with Eli and Claire, Eli got really kind of, wouldn't say really close, but he did kind of get close to her mom, and then Claire got close with Bullfrog, because who wouldn't? And Cece. But I feel like they barely showed Cece.
They barely showed her, and she was a cool mom too.
Exactly. She was on other stuff from Canada too. Because when she, what was that show, Winging It, with the characters Cam and
that was her.
Dallas. Wasn't she the mom on there?
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm like, yeah, she was
I all about Winging It. I'm not gonna lie, that was a good show.
That really was a good show. And I feel like they got along with each other's parents, and that helped their relationship. I feel like a lot of the in-game or close-like relationships, like even with Spinner and Jane, Spinner got really close to Jane's parents, or at least the mom, because I don't think the dad, when Spinner and Jane started dating, I don't think the dad was, you know, in their life anymore at that point. Mm-hmm. And so, but he came back. This was before the episode, I mean, that, you know, we found out about what he was doing to Jane and stuff. But I just feel like that really helps. Like, I feel like that helps in real life too, but especially probably when you're in high school, to be close to their family, because you're probably anxious. I feel like that's probably one thing a lot of like Gen Zers, that's our thing. Like, we always anxious about meeting people's family, or just
millennials are too.
Yeah, but I feel like millennials date more than Gen Zers, because I feel like Gen Zers.
Well, y'all just starting to date.
Yeah, but you know, like, Gen Zers is, like, older now. We ain't, like, all 12-year-olds.
Don't try to make me feel like I'm old.
I ain't trying to make you feel old, but I'm just saying we ain't all, like, 15, 16.
Yeah, I'm still 15, 16
so,
to me.
I'm just, like, I feel
Except
like...
you.
I feel like millennials, I agree, I do think they have some sort of anxiety about dating, but I feel like...
It's more like the commitment, probably, for us.
Yeah, because I would say y'all date. I just don't feel like it goes. A lot of millennials just date.
It don't go too far.
Yeah, but with Gen Zers, I feel like you already linked up, you already married, got kids, all that stuff, or you literally never been on a date in your life. Mm-hmm. You single AF, and you just like, you know, I don't really care at this point.
So y'all don't even hook up, probably. I just know
that's what I'm saying.
That's the
like
thing. Millennials, that's all we do is hook up.
So that's what I'm saying. That's the difference. Is I feel like. So at least if you kind of meet the family, maybe it will make you feel better? ? I don't know. So, but I feel like that worked in, you know, their favor, because they knew each other's family. Well, they was already best friends, so that's already helped.
Like,
so
I don't know. I feel like this kind of a plot hole in Degrassi, because they do this a lot. One moment it felt like they were talking about how Liberty was like annoying in school and blah blah blah. The next breath, they were talking about how loyal she was as a friend. I mean, she could be annoying and also be loyal, but the way they were describing Liberty at certain points of the timeline will always go back to her in elementary school, and either they talked about how annoying she was or how loyal she was. So it was like, which one was she, annoying or loyal? Like, they made it seem like they didn't want to be around her, or they always wanted to be around her.
Exactly.
I don't know.
It was very weird.
But then it makes sense, because somebody like that will probably be annoying but also be loyal. Like, I act like you can't be annoying and loyal at the same time.
I get you. I get what you're saying, though. But I do feel like that happens a lot in school. They'd be like, oh, that's my best friend. But then the next word, they'd be like, not talking really bad about them, but just being like, oh, here goes, you know, Michaela again. She trying to be a know-it-all. Here goes Michaela again, telling me what to do, stuff like that. So it's not really necessarily talking bad about them.
She does try to tell people what to do.
That's why I use those as examples. Lord, I know my stuff. I'm, what's it called? I know my issues. I ain't gonna pretend.
Not issue, your flaw.
Oh, excuse me, my flaws.
It's not an issue.
What could be an issue for some people?
Then Flirk them.
Flirt?
I don't want us to get demonetized. They know what I'm saying.
But I just feel like, yeah, after all of that, you know, I feel like JT and Liberty, even though they dated for a good amount of time, it was mostly just like seeing them, because they weren't really problematic. Mm-hmm. You know, all of their stuff didn't come until, you know, she got pregnant. And all that stuff happening. I feel like that's
let's talk about that for a sec.
Yeah, that's the big gap. That probably another 30 minutes right there.
I didn't want to go straight into the pregnancy thing. I'm glad we took the time and talked about their beginning. But let's talk about the pregnancy for a sec. Liberty is a smart girl.
I'm sorry.
What happened?
What you about to say is making me laugh.
Liberty's a smart girl. You know, she is a person of color. And one of the stereotypes of people of color, specifically black women, is that we get pregnant super early. Why, Degrassi?
Exactly.
You already did the stereotypes with Jimmy. Like,
For real, y'all really did. Basketball, cripple. He raps. What's the cripple that's got to do with stereotypes?
I minus the cripple, but I mean, like, the next thing he was shot.
Or disabled.
Wait,
I don't know if cripple is considered a bad term.
That's true. I'm so sorry. Disabled. Yeah. But I mean, not the disabled part, the shot part.
Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah,
he played basketball. He was a basketball star. The basketball star got shot. Then he became a rapper.
That really is a stereotype.
That's all the stereotypes of a black man in one. I'm sorry. Then you said, "Oh, we have this smart black woman. Mm-hmm. Let's make her pregnant."
For what reason? I don't know.
Y'all had her smart and with a white dude. Okay, y'all was doing well for yourself. Everything was going well. And then y'all made her pregnant. But then y'all made it up again by putting the baby up for adoption. Because even though that would have broke my heart if I was in that situation, y'all said, "Oh, she's still gonna have an opportunity to finish school and go to college because she's giving her baby up for adoption."
Two things from that. One, I don't like Degrassi. How y'all made her storyline a B storyline for that whole episode. Because I think that episode was about Craig. Because I remember I just did a little, before I went off YouTube and I was doing the little clips on TikTok. Mm-hmm. The episode was about Craig. Ooh. And Liberty giving birth was 5 seconds of the episode. Oh, no. I was like, no, ma'am. We need to have an hour-long special for Liberty just having that baby.
And another thing, why you let stinking not Jessica, that's her real name in real life. Stinking Jenna and KC, why y'all let them keep the baby but then put them up for adoption later? Why y'all couldn't do that with JT and Liberty and then do the other thing where she just give them up for adoption after she gave birth with Jenna and KC? Because that made more sense to me than having Jenna and Casey keep the baby. Because if you think about it, everybody wanted JT and Liberty to be together anyway and wanted them to be in game. If anything, her giving the baby up for adoption was like JT said, "Oh, I'm not gonna be with her no more." Yeah.
And the second thing, this is kind of skipping a lot of stuff. I'm gonna come back, but I mean, like, this don't really have nothing to do with Jiberty. But I don't like how when she did go to college and she was trying to get into that sorority or whatever, and she was talking about First of all, I was like, wow, y'all really did stereotype Liberty. I feel like it kind of was just for that scene. Because I was like, dang, I didn't realize she had that many stereotypes. But she was joining a sorority. First of all, she was going to PWI, which is primarily white institute. Mm-hmm. And she was trying to join a sorority that was primarily white. Mm-hmm. And
they made her a token black girl.
Yeah, remember? And she was telling her story. And it was like, tell us about yourself. And she talked about how she got pregnant and had a baby, but was still able to graduate and stuff. And she gave it up for adoption. And then she talked about her boyfriend, and it was like, "Oh, who's your boyfriend?" Blah blah blah. And she was like, "Oh, he's no longer, but like he's, deceased."
Oh, did he get shot?
Yeah, I think that's literally what she said. She was like, "Oh my gosh, like did he get shot?" And she was like,
"No, he got stabbed."
Like, what are you talking about? Like, and I'm just like, wow, they really tried to.
I wouldn't even told them how my boyfriend died. I wouldn't even told them.
I probably wouldn't even told them I had a boyfriend. I probably would have been like, I wouldn't even say nothing about being pregnant.
I wouldn't say nothing about being pregnant, but I would have said I have overcome a lot of obstacles in my life, like my boyfriend dying. I could have said cancer. They wouldn't have known.
Exactly. They don't know.
And they don't need to know.
I think she also told him that the boyfriend had a drug addiction. And no offense, JT didn't really have a drug addiction. He was only on drugs for like 5 seconds. He was selling drugs. That's the difference.
I don't remember this. Why did Liberty say that?
I feel like it had to be something. Maybe they did a background check and they was like, explain this. But even in the background check.
Even a background check, they don't say, oh, her boyfriend was a drug addict and he died by stabbing.
Yeah, I remember her telling all that stuff. I can't remember why. I had to go back and watch it. But
I'm pretty sure it's because that's probably what Manny and Emma told her. Oh, you should tell them about your sad story because that can get you more in there. And she didn't think in the back of her head, oh, me telling my story is gonna get people to it's gonna get them to think about my stereotype. I think the reason why is Liberty didn't think of herself as a black woman. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
She thought of herself as a woman and that she's black.
Yeah.
She didn't think about, oh, I'm a black woman. She thought about, I'm a black woman. And you know what I mean, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And her friends who are of the Caucasian persuasion ain't gonna know either, which is fine because they don't know. They never had no issue with her being a black woman either because she was Liberty. It didn't matter to them, which is nice in a sense, but at the same time, she needed that one friend or a friend or two or a group of friends that understood her and who she is, because then she would have understood. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about this at a predominantly white sorority.
Yeah.
So
I feel like Danny did that too. Not gonna lie.
Like Danny and her both walked in the same thing because Degrassi, they never the school never made anybody feel like, oh, you're black or you're Hispanic or you, because I forgot Mandy's Hispanic and Filipino. She's not white. Sorry. You're Hispanic. You're white. They never made nobody feel like they're their color. And in hindsight, people can be like, oh, that's nice. But then at the same time, how are you supposed to know who you are?
Exactly. And I feel like the only reason Manny, at least with Manny, you can kind of be able to be like, she talked about her heritage and stuff, but that was because her parents were like, we gonna do this, we gonna do that. And not saying it's the parents' fault, because Liberty's parents obviously was like,
But they were lawyers, wasn't they?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. They made sure, we make sure you go to a good school and all that stuff. But it's still...
I wish they would have told her about who she was more.
Yeah, it still could have been something
her and Danny.
Yeah, because I don't know what Danny was doing.
Yeah, but I don't know how... That's when another thing that confused me, because Jimmy knew who he was, but his dad was also not around either. So how did he, because he had
that's kind of true.
All different friends too. That he had no friends that was like him. So that's what I'm saying.
Maybe that's when he got with Hazel. Because Hazel was also really into her heritage, even though at first she tried to, act like she was Jamaican.
That's true.
I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of because, even though Liberty, her first boyfriend was black, I don't think he was like... He
was quiet.
Yeah, I don't think he was walking around being like, I'm black.
And his best friend was Sean.
Yeah, so.
But Sean was like
Sean
Eminem.
and Jay.
Sean was like Eminem, so.
Sean and Jay.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't care about Jay. Let's be honest.
So, getting back to
around this time, I didn't care about Jay.
That's
Jay
true.
got better to me, but you know how Michaela feel about him, so.
Getting back to Jiberty. I feel like, when she got pregnant, I don't know, I just wish something different would happen. I understand in, reality circumstances.
The pregnancy thing shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, in reality circumstances, I feel like, though, maybe it made sense, but like you just said, I don't feel like they should even got pregnant.
The thing, I feel like they should have did a storyline with her that was different than everybody else's was birth control. They could have did a birth control storyline.
That's true, they could have.
Instead of doing the condom breaking with her. Because they did condom breaking with somebody else, I feel like, after Liberty.
Oh, definitely, probably.
Lola, I think. her condom broke when Miles was right.
I don't think they used the condom. Just like, I don't think Jenna and Casey used the condom.
Well, yeah, I know Jenna and Casey didn't because they crazy. But,
yeah, they definitely should have probably did. I think
somebody should have had a birth control storyline, and that would have been perfect with Liberty because who she is.
You know who had a birth control storyline, but they didn't touch on it, was Alex. Remember, she was like, oh my god, I'm late. And she was like, I took my birth control. She mentioned it for like a split second, but yeah, they never.
But then Alex became a lesbian, so that's why I'm
No,
saying.
Allie.
Oh, Allie. I thought you said Alex.
You remember how Alex? I was like,
yeah, because she had that pregnancy scare with Dave.
Yeah.
Well, Allie never got pregnant, so that makes sense.
Oh, so you talking about somebody?
I'm talking about erasing the whole pregnancy storyline for Liberty in general and have her, because by that time we didn't know about Allie yet, so that would have been perfect if y'all would have said, oh, she went to Planned Parenthood. She would have had time, definitely, because her parents was barely around, so she could have went to Planned Parenthood and said, oh, now I want to have sex with JT, who's my boyfriend, just in case you can. And so I want to make sure I'm safe, because she was smart enough to know that you got to be safe when you do have sex with somebody, especially in high school. So that's what I'm saying. So that would have been a perfect storyline for somebody like Liberty. Y'all still could have did the same thing with Allie and her being late. And then y'all wouldn't even have to touch on it, which y'all didn't, but you wouldn't have to touch on it at all because we already had the storyline with Liberty.
That's true.
That's what I think it could have happened.
I just feel like the whole storyline with them getting pregnant, it was, first of all, it was too quick. And then second of all, I feel like they should have done more. I feel like the most, like, I guess you could say important part of the storyline that they touched on was when they told their family, and their family was like, you know, you should talk about either, well, I think at that point they couldn't talk about, you know, getting rid of the baby, but adoption, other options in her.
They even did surrogacy.
Well, I guess with surrogacy, some people, especially at that time, you know, they feel some type of way. They was like, I want to use my sperm, I want to use my eggs.
And plus, we don't know about Canada's laws.
Oh, that's true, yeah. So, but they was like, we need to talk about other options. And I feel like, okay, that was good or whatever. But I just feel like they kind of wanted something shocking to happen for Jiberty because they was doing so well. And I guess they didn't want everybody to be like, oh, it's this perfect couple. Even though y'all had, Degrassi had couples that were just like together just for like 5 seconds, but like, or we only seen them for 5 seconds, but everybody assumed like, oh, they're such a great couple, like Dallas and Allie, or Jenna and Connor, like two couples that didn't have really any big storylines about their relationship, even though they had other big storylines. Like, I feel like they could have did that with JT and Liberty, but for some reason, they felt like they had to do something. Then when she did get pregnant,
a lot of trending, like, when around that time, because when you said Jenna and Connor and
Allie and Dallas,
and they all was around that time.
Yeah.
So like everybody around GT and Liberty's time, all their relationships was dramatic.
Yeah, like they was really trying to drill in dramatic. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, like you said, they could have did something else. Yeah. But even though they did the pregnancy storyline, she was only pregnant for like.
She was pregnant quick.
3 episodes, I feel like. Maybe she was pregnant longer than that, but I feel like when she got pregnant, they barely
touched on it.
Yeah.
Like, she don't even think she had any morning sickness.
Yeah, we didn't see any. Yeah. Their experience.
Only time you would have known she was pregnant was when she said she was pregnant to JT and they had their car accident, and then her giving birth. If you missed those 2 episodes, you wouldn't even know.
Yeah, you would have been like, what is it? What are the people talking about? Because for some reason, even though they barely talked about the pregnancy and, you know, she had a baby, whatever, the only, like, storyline happening there, like I said, they talked to the parents and then JT selling the drugs. But after that, they talked about the pregnancy so much. And I'm like, why y'all still talking about it? Like, y'all made it seem like a little secret. But every 5 seconds, Liberty talking about, I gave birth to your baby. You know, and then JT like, you gave the baby up for adoption. Like, what?
And another thing that I didn't like, when she was pregnant, again, they barely talked about the baby or what they was going to do with the baby.
Yeah.
And when she did give up for adoption, JT didn't seem like he really cared until after the baby was gone.
That's what I'm saying. I think it had to do with the episode being a B plot.
That's what I'm saying. Because if really JT cared, they should have had more of an episode while she was pregnant of him, like, maybe we shouldn't be giving them up for adoption. Maybe we should try this, try that. Like, have him convince her to keep the baby.
Yeah. The only time they did that was when, but no, that was after she gave birth. When she talked to Derek. And she was like, you know, how do you feel about being adopted and all that stuff. And that's the only time they talked about it. Because she was like, you know, I feel kind of bad.
Derek was adopted.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel like people in a foster care system. That's why.
I feel like people forget that Derek was adopted and all that stuff. That
makes sense the way he acted.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, not trying to excuse him beating up Jane. That's never gonna be excused. But like the way he talked to people and stuff, I feel like that goes back.
I didn't even think about the Jane.
Oh yeah, I feel like that goes back to because I feel like people didn't like Derek before that even happened with Jane, and I'm like. True. You know, I'm not trying to redeem the dude, but like everybody be like, he's the worst. You got Declan who grew up very wealthy and had all the training that you need to be respectable. He wasn't. Who else? Well, I can't say Jay because he didn't really have nobody to teach him. But no, I'm saying like his is kind of not excused, but like the way he grew up, that kind of makes sense why he acted like that.
Yeah, but when you think about
Peter, sorry, that was
Derek as a person. He was a likable person until he got older to me. Like,
he was likable, but the only reason I feel like he wasn't likable because freaking Danny and Peter trying to gang up on him because he liked the girl and the girl ended up picking Danny and he couldn't be upset about it. They act like he couldn't be upset.
Well, no, not that part. I'm talking about the whole Jane situation when they were.
I thought that's when I feel like people stopped liking him.
When he cut his hair.
He cut his hair right after the episode.
Oh, that's true. But I mean, like that particular moment when he was being misogynistic towards Jane, that's what I mean. Like after that, he was unlikable. But before that whole Jane situation, I feel like it was redeeming qualities in him. Yeah, so that's why people like you and me, we had some sort of likability towards him because we understood his story about him being in a foster care system and about him being misunderstood. But after the whole
we can't excuse that.
I don't condone in that.
I ain't part of that.
Yeah, so.
Okay. So now, because, like we said, Jiberty's relationship, it's more about, what did they always say? It's always about the journey, not necessarily destination. Because really, they weren't together for that long, let's be honest. They were only together for this long.
All the best couple, I think the only couple that we loved that was together for a long time was Eli and Claire. Literally. All our other favorite couples wasn't together that long. And like I don't understand why. Because it's like I feel like they always give you that moment where they're going to be together. Ooh.
Jane and Spinner was together for a long time.
But you saw how that
Yeah. But I was like, one other couple that was together for a long time. Because they were together for like some years. Yeah. Before she, cheated. We need to talk about it. But
Michaela is really hurt by that.
We need to talk about it.
It was so... If you talking about, the whole out of character trope or whatever, that was one of the most out of the character tropes ever.
Yeah.
In history, because if you look at Declan's personality and you look at Jane's personality, it don't match. It don't match together. If you go from how Jane, the whole football situation, how she was there for Spinner during cancer, it don't add up.
But somebody did say, which I think makes a lot of sense. I'm still upset about the storyline, but I was like, okay, I can kind of see where they're coming from.
Though. I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was juicy. I don't have no problem with Declan. I'm not gonna lie.
Ew.
He got better when he was with Holly J, in my opinion.
No, he didn't. He got worse.
He got worse.
Do you not remember the episode where he came back? This was after him and Holly J. Like, she came back from New York or whatever and was going back to Degrassi. And she found out she lost all her money or whatever and all this stuff. And she was just with Declan for the money, kind of. And he came back and he was trying to sleep with her. And she was like, she didn't want to sleep with him. I think that's such a weird episode because they kind of make it seem like, essay, if y'all know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
And they kind of just brushed it off. Like, oh, no, he didn't do nothing. That's my girlfriend. So he could do whatever he wanted.
Oh, that's
But
true.
Holly J kind of seemed uncomfortable about it. Plus, she was with Sav, I think. Or, like, her and Sav started dating. And she didn't want to tell Sav that Declan was coming. And then when Declan came, he assumed him and Holly J was just going to be together. It was a weird episode.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one.
So that already right there. Then the whole thing with Fiona and Bobby, Declan basically didn't believe her. He was like...
Well, I think about Fiona's track record at that time, though.
But that's the thing. He believed her and then told her, oh, I don't think you should be with Bobby. Because of, like, he felt like something was off about them. And then when she told him, okay, I agree with you, something's off about it, he was like, oh, well, I already tried to warn you, so that's on you.
But if you think about it, yeah, but the reason why she was all gung-ho to be with him because it was going to help out her reputation, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I'm saying when she finally was like, okay, I'm done with this crap, Declan was like, oh, you're too late.
To what Fiona was doing at the time.
But I literally just rewatched the episode. It was only within a matter of an episode, so it only had to be a couple of days. It wasn't like, you know, she was with him for months and then all of a sudden was like, oh,
but that's on him for giving up on his sister too much.
So that's
I understand his point of view as well. When you keep
that's your twin sister. He didn't keep telling her. He told her once. He literally all he said when he found out they was dating. Oh,
but once if you think about it, Degrassi tends to put things on the back burner, so he could have told her more than just once. We just saw it once.
I don't believe that. Not with Declan. Dude, he told her once is like, you better believe my word, and if you don't believe it, then you stupid.
I'm not trying to like take up for Declan or nothing.
It sounds like it.
I just don't think he's the worst one. I just don't think.
Oh, I don't think he's the worst one. I just put him up there with the worst one. To me, he's up there with Peter. He's not as bad as Peter, but he up there.
Oh,
it's like this Peter. This is.
Let's
Declan.
be honest here, though. If you go for the worst, is also obviously Peter.
Yes.
But then you gotta think about Fitz is next.
Fitz is next.
Yes. And I'm surprised you don't think that because he tried to pretend to stab Eli.
I feel like my thing with Fitz goes back to...
And then he tried to fake and say he was a Christian now and try to get...
But I don't think that was fake. I think he really was a Christian. He was also trying to get with Claire. I think because he was new into believing God. So he was like, I could still go around and start sleeping with women.
It's
I don't know.
Weird.
But I feel like it had to be real. He really had the pastor come there and like pick him up and stuff. But I think
he was trying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if he really was like an actual Christian, but I think he was like, at least going to church or like believing in God.
We ain't talking about Leo.
Well, yeah, he up there, but we never talk about Leo. But
yeah, because you're definitely gonna get demonetized if you talk about Leo. Let's be honest.
But I feel
like Blue was the worst. Holly J had some horrible boyfriends.
How was Blue worse than... I feel like they're about the same amount. People always talk about Blue, and it's justifiable. But y'all telling me Declan is okay?
What I'm saying... No, I'm not saying Declan is okay. I'm just going from my list. Declan would have been after Blue.
Declan up there.
Yeah, he is still up there if you think about it.
No, I'm talking about for me. He's like up there with Peter, like I just said. None of these, other than Leo... Blue, yeah, he's up there too, but like I don't even usually think about Blue.
Only reason why I'm saying Blue because how you gonna be there for like 5 seconds and all you do is control Holly J?
That's true.
Do the whole time you there. That's it. At least with Declan, yeah, he controlled Holly J in some moments, but he did have some redeeming qualities. I think he could redeem himself if he could. Everybody else before Declan, in my opinion, cannot redeem themselves. In my opinion. That's why I put them higher up. Because Fitz, no. Peter, no. Peter first. Leo, no. Blue, no.
I don't want to be talking about this, bruh. Like, this all sounds terrible. I was like, let's go back to Jiberty.
It does sound terrible, but I just want you to know from my opinion, the only reason why I was saying that is because I feel like Declan can redeem himself. That's all I was saying. That's why I put him lower than...
Okay. I don't want to keep talking about it. I just feel like Peter and Declan, whatever, I don't care where they at on my list. I don't really have a list. It's just usually when I talk about the worst people, it's always Peter, Declan, and Jay.
And Casey.
Oh, and Casey. I feel like surprisingly I don't talk about Casey that much. Mostly because he's just annoying. I don't like talking about him.
And Zig, too, for some reason.
Zig I don't only talk about Zig when people be like, oh, I love Zig. Zig looks so cute. No.
The actor dude looks
Well, yeah, the actor is attractive, but... I don't get the appeal for Zig. Also, I don't like Jonah. I don't feel like I talk about that much.
We don't talk about Jonah enough at all.
Exactly.
Because he was so problematic. And another thing that they didn't bring up. This dude had a kid.
Thank you. I was literally about to say, did you see the Watch Mojo or Miss Mojo? We watched that video, and I was like, he did have a.
And it was like a fleeting moment with what's her name? Grace. And he was like, oh, yeah, I don't get to see her.
I'm sorry.
And I see why.
Jonah doesn't deserve the name Jonah, first of all. So many greats named Jonah. I don't know how many. I just thinking about
the Bible Jonah.
Oh,
Jonah Hill.
Yeah, I was thinking about Jonah Hill.
Jonas Brothers.
Jonas. Exactly. Close enough.
I don't know what else.
But yeah. I'm like, no. But okay. Oh, I wonder if he was named after Jonah in the Bible. Because remember he was Christian for like 5 seconds?
He might have been then. And while Becky was named Becky.
That's true. Because at least Luke's in the Bible.
Well, it is somebody in the Bible named Rebecca. So maybe
her name is Rebecca. I feel like that's something we had to look up.
Yeah.
But that makes more sense. Like,
and then Claire.
Becky?
What about Claire?
Claire and Darcy probably was named after family members.
That makes sense.
Because I don't think Claire and Darcy are like old people names, but they are like. How many Claire and Darcys have you met in real life in like 2020? None.
I think I met a Claire, but I don't think I've never met a Darcy.
I think I have met a Claire actually when I was like in elementary school.
Yeah.
But
elementary school.
2020, 2022, 2022, or 2020. What do you call this like decades? Do you call it the 20s or like the 2020s?
Yeah, 2020s.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So like
it's
the
not
2020s.
no more.
Yeah. Because I was like, I've never heard nobody call it anything. So yeah, the 2020s. Yeah, I have never met anybody named Claire or Darcy, so that's why I'm like, maybe they were named after like family members before them and all that stuff. But
to your point with Liberty pregnant.
Yeah, I just felt like with their whole situation, they went past it so quick to just bring it up a lot every 5 seconds in the newer seasons. Yeah. And then like the whole storyline with Jatia, we gotta talk about it.
No.
I feel bad for Mia because I feel like I could have liked Mia because everybody always talk about, we love Mia or like Nina Dobrev, the actress. And like, I have nothing to, like, I think Nina Dobrev is great.
But I say the actress is great. Nina Dobrev is great.
But I don't know. I think because Mia started off with JT and then she was with Peter and she had a modeling storyline and all that stuff. I don't know. I just think the way they went about her character for me, I don't think in general, because, obviously some people love her, some people just don't care about her. I just feel like for me, it just didn't, it didn't do it for me. Yeah, like I didn't care to see her on my screen. Like I wouldn't say, I mean, I guess you could say I dislike her, but like, I don't know. Like, because even when Holly J and her had that whole little beef, I was just like, other than Holly J, the one thing I didn't like about Holly J, especially when she was in her mean girl phase, she kept talking about people who had babies. And it was like, first of all, you're gonna have to stop talking about my child. Because like, she would be like, oh, Mama Mia and all that stuff and talking about her kids. And like, oh, why you bring your child here and all that stuff. Like, first of all, get that out your mind.
First of all,
stop talking about my child.
Her kid was the most adorable kid ever.
She was really cute. And just imagine too how JT and Liberty's baby look. Ugh.
Yeah, it was a missed opportunity. I'm saying y'all should have switched Jenna and Casey with Liberty and JT.
And the thing I didn't like about keep going off topic, but anyway, to talk about Casey and Jenna's baby, how y'all gonna have? I know this probably happened in real life, but the way they did it on the show made me like kind of aggravated. Was when they named the baby Tyson, and so when they give it up for adoption, they changed the baby's name. Which you have that ability. That's your child. But then they kind of like came at Casey because Casey used to visit him. He'd be like, "Oh hey Tyson, blah blah," blah. And I forgot what his name. I think it was Doug. And it was like, "Don't call him Tyson. His name is Doug."
Wait,
and I'm like,
I hope it wasn't Doug because
I think it was Doug.
How you go from nice sweet Tyson to Doug?
I think it was his father's name or something. It was something.
Not gonna lie, it makes more sense for Jenna and Casey to name him Doug, and then the people to name him Tyson, than the other way around.
But I just didn't like. Because even though I don't like Casey, I do like that. Because that's something JT could have did. Like you said, they could have talked about that. Because they did. I think they did a closed adoption. So that means they couldn't have any contact with, the baby's new parents. Mm-hmm. But he could have, at least if you was going to do adoption, he could have asked, oh, can we do an open adoption so I can still have contact with, the child.
Because she don't have to have contact with him if she don't want to.
Yeah, and I don't, because that's what Jenna did, remember? Casey would be like, oh, you want to come? And she was like,
didn't want to see him.
Yeah.
Which I understand.
Yeah, that's tough. Like, you're still trying to get through high school, and you coming at her because she don't I don't want to say she didn't want to see him, but she was just like, trying to continue with her life. Let them, I know they being taken. I know that my baby's being taken care of.
They named him Doug.
I think he did tell her that. She was like, I don't care. Like, she didn't want to know anything.
I would have been like, no.
I think she did end up going to see him.
Oh
like, Casey's
God.
last time was seeing Tyson, Doug. I think it was Doug. The last time they saw, I think they both were there the last time. Because they was like, we gonna let y'all do y'all thing. Because Casey felt like he was, which he kind of was. But I don't know. I don't like the way that they went about it. Like, the new parents. Because they kept being like, why are you always here? Why are you trying to name him Tyson? His name is Doug. And it was just like...
I'm okay with the name Doug. I know I keep on making faces. I'm just thinking about Tyson compared to Doug. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, it's so weird.
To me, if I'm... And this is just my opinion. If I'm getting a baby from adoption, like from a teenager or from a young family that don't want a young couple that don't want a baby yet, I'm going to at least respect them in a sense. If they gave them my baby a name, I'm going to keep the name. Especially if they did open adoption. To me, if you accept an open adoption, you should accept the person that they still want to see them.
I don't agree with that, just because I feel like, especially depending on how you go about it, you basically saying like, this is my child. We don't know like what their fertility was like and all that stuff. So it could have been making them feel more comfortable to be like, this is your name and this, like, I don't know.
I'm not saying like you shouldn't want to do anything with your own baby, but I'm saying like, to me, if you're saying on the papers open adoption, that's what I mean. The open adoption part. If you want to change their name, change their name. I don't know why, Doug, but yeah. But I just feel like, to me, if you're saying to the adoption agency, I'm okay with doing open adoption, I don't understand why you can't just arrange something with the person's parents, like the biological parents.
I don't know. When I brought this up, I wasn't thinking we was going to go down a whole path. I just was saying that I think they changed the name and I don't like that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like, in my opinion, if I have infertility issues and I was okay with open adoption, I would have been okay if the biological parents wanted to keep seeing their child. Who is my child now? I guess it's just a complex thing.
But I don't think that their issue wasn't Casey coming to see the baby. Their issue was him kept calling him Tyson when his name wasn't Tyson no more. That's what I'm saying. The point I was trying to make was not necessarily that they changed the name and stuff. I just didn't like how Casey was okay that they changed the baby's name, but the way he went about it was kind of rude, because it was like, okay, I respect the fact that you changed the baby's name, but you got to give him a second to, recollect it, because he was calling him Tyson for like a year. So
I agree with that 100%.
So that's what I was mostly talking about, because I was like, okay, he knows the baby's name and like he's trying, because he wants to be in the baby's life.
Yeah.
So
he wants to be in the baby's life, but also give the baby the best chance of his own better life.
So that's why I was like...
And he knows it ain't gonna be with him.
So that was mostly what my frustration was with that, because I felt like the one time Casey actually trying, and it felt like they weren't giving him... And y'all know how I feel. You shouldn't just be like, oh, you trying, so now we're gonna give you this... But, like, they didn't even know Casey. It wasn't like Jenna went up to say, Casey's a lousy father. Casey, like, didn't say nothing about him, but, like, they kind of perceived him like that.
Casey was a good father, though.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, I was say surprised. He wasn't a good boyfriend or in that sense. But, yeah, he was actually a good
He barely
father.
was a good friend.
But, so, that's where mostly, I felt like with JT and Liberty... Because Liberty was by herself, like, that was one thing. JT really just kind of, after she said, because of how you reacting already, I don't think we should keep the baby. And, she chose that she didn't want to have, because I feel like she felt like, that was going to break her heart a little bit to be able to go see the child whenever she wanted to. I think she just wanted to be like, I want to make sure whoever has my baby, I know that they're going to be taken care of. And so...
I get why Liberty did close adoption, but to me... If JT really cared about this baby for real, like not care about the baby, I know Liberty cared about the baby, but if he really cared about seeing the baby or being in the baby's life, he should have really went for, I want to open adoption. Because open adoption don't mean both parents got to be open to seeing the baby. It can just be one parent.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm like, that's where they could have went. And then I feel like it was completely a slap in the face. And I know other people don't maybe agree. You know, I'm not saying that anybody has to agree with my opinion, but I feel like it was a slap in the face because I feel like I would get where Liberty was coming from when JT started going out with Mia, which that's not the slap in the face, but like he was treating a baby like, well, I guess at the time Mia's child wasn't really a baby anymore. I think she was like 2 or 3 or 4. Like she was kind of a grown looking child, but however old, I think her name was Isabella. However old she was, he was treating her like really nicely. Like it was kind of his own child, which was great. But you just literally got out of a relationship where you had a baby, and maybe it didn't end the way you wanted it to, but you kind of disregarded Liberty, which again, understandable. He's upset, but to flaunt your new relationship and the fact that she has a child, you didn't even really give Liberty the chance to heal. Like she ain't even been sewn up basically yet, and you over here with your new girlfriend who has a child, and I don't know. I just think Liberty in her eyes, because people always want to be like, well, Liberty one who did closed adoption, she the one who did adoption. When no, I blame it on JT because she wanted to keep that baby. She was willing to, you know, give birth to the baby. She was willing to have the baby. They just needed a place to stay. She was willing to not even talk to her parents. Like that's how much she wanted the baby.
Move in with him.
Yeah, like she wanted that baby. And JT, I understand he was at a loss because he didn't know. He felt like he didn't know what he wanted to do, or like he didn't know how to make money and like provide. Which understandable, you're a high schooler. But for the choices he made, and if I was in Liberty's position, I would have did the same thing. Yeah, like I don't know how you gonna be around my baby, and I don't want to be by myself.
The one thing I would have did differently than what Liberty did is I would have been more aggressive towards JT because.
But I feel like she literally slapped him with a backpack. Like yo, dumbass.
Not aggressive like that. I mean, like aggressive. Like you need to get it together. Yeah. You need to get it together. Because we have a baby on the way, and I want this baby. I want to have this baby with you. I want to have your babies. This is the whole point of me getting pregnant.
Yeah.
Because obviously, this was meant to be. So, either you need to get your stuff together, or we need to come up with a different plan. Yeah. Together. Because I feel like Liberty did that all by herself.
Yeah. And Toby did more than JT did.
Yeah, that's not fair.
That goes back to, and again, this might just be my opinion. I don't even know if Amber feels the same way. But I feel like that goes back to why Liberty and Toby ended up, you know, having that little fling for like 5 seconds after JT died. Because Toby was there for Liberty more than JT was at that point. Yeah. After she gave birth, after JT started being with Mia, everything. Literally, not only was Toby and Liberty like best friends, maybe not as much as JT and Toby, but they was best friends. But like literally, they both lost somebody that was close to them. And they both, basically, he was there for the pregnancy just as much as JT or more than JT. Mm-hmm. They had a connection. And even though some people maybe don't agree with this, but I wish they would have I wish it wasn't that quick after JT died, but I wish they would have explored that relationship because I think it would have worked. Just like how some people feel like Spinner and Emma, which makes absolutely no sense because literally they barely talk to each other. People like, oh, we gave it a chance, blah, blah, blah. But literally, Liberty and Toby, best friends since they started at the school. And like I said, was there for her pregnancy, was there after JT died. They have way more of a connection, but for some reason, people are way more pissed. I think because of how quickly they got together after JT died, which, again, understandable.
Wait, people don't like Toby and Liberty together?
I don't think they dislike them together. They dislike how quickly they got together after JT died and just thought it was like...
But they wasn't pissed that JT and Mia, how quick they was together after... Liberty.
Oh, no, people don't... Some people don't like them. Some people do. I think it's like 50-50.
Pushed out that baby out her vagina?
That's what I'm saying. Like, the way some people get upset about certain storylines don't make sense to me. But for that one, I feel like that... Cause only reason I'm comparing it to Spinner and Emma because they literally got married, and then also because, you know, Spinner was with Manny.
That makes sense why you comparing Liberty and Toby and Emma and Spinner. That makes sense.
Yeah, because Spinner was also...
even though they were friends.
Yeah, Spinner was with me. But they was not no Toby and Liberty friends.
No, not Emma and Spinner. I was talking about Toby and Liberty were friends. So that's probably why that don't seem as... My bad if y'all heard something. Because I hit the mic.
But, I keep hitting the mic, lady. I think it's fine.
But I'm just saying because since Toby and Liberty was already friends, it don't seem really that surprising that they messed around for a little bit. Now, if they got married, that'd be different. But
I don't think it would have been weird. It would have just been weird if they got married at that point because
that's what I mean. How quick the marriage would have been, like with Emma and Spinner.
Oh, okay.
And at least with Emma and Spinner, they were drunk.
Yeah. But they decided they got sober and still decided to stay together.
Don't be getting on Spinner and Emma.
It don't make sense.
I'm sorry.
I'm assuming y'all sobered up. So at that point, I would have been like, okay, annulment. Like, y'all had enough time.
But Spinner and Emma are good people.
They're good people. That's not for each other. Them people did not last
a year.
Is
Emma supposed to do? Sean is in the army. What else is Spinner supposed to do? Jane is a Jezebel.
I guarantee you they didn't last a year. I feel like they had a child, but I guarantee you they didn't last a year.
If they didn't last a year, they don't have a kid.
I don't know. I feel like they was like really, passionate in the bedroom, and then they was also.
I'm passionate in the bedroom, and I don't have a kid.
No, I'm talking about them just specifically together. Like I feel like we're gonna see like a Spinner and Emma child on the reboot. Like he or she gonna be the main character.
If we do, I hope if they're not together no more, they're cordial and friends.
Oh yeah, I feel like the way Spinner was when we saw him in later season, like because he was there when Eli was trying to apply for the dot. He seemed very mature. He seemed respectable, and I feel like Emma. We did see her in Next Class, I believe, and I feel like she seemed kind of the same way, but like older. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if they were to have a child, they would. I don't see them arguing. I just don't feel like they lasted a year because they don't have any similar interests. We saw how her and Kelly was. They was good, and then all of a sudden she got bored with him, and then was like, "Oh, I don't want to be with you anymore." So I feel like that's kind of how she was with Spinner. Spinner probably wanted to stay in Canada, or I don't know specifically like where Degrassi was supposed to be located or whatever. But I'm pretty sure he wanted to stay in that area, obviously because he was still on the dot and all that stuff. So I feel like he probably wanted to stay in that area. He probably was like, since we do have a kid, because like I'm saying, in my mind they had a kid. He was like, let's stay in this area. We know the area. Degrassi, obviously, they're going to have a great experience there. Emma was like, no, I want to travel the world. I want to save the planet. I want to probably go to Africa like Darcy did. I want to go to Asia. She probably wanted to go to China. Probably wanted to go to Australia. Like, especially like when the fires was happening. Girl was traveling the planet. I guarantee you. So I just don't feel like they clicked. I feel like after that year, they probably would separate.
She probably joined the Peace Corps or her.
Yeah. So like, I ain't saying they didn't last because they didn't like each other. I feel like they didn't last because they didn't want the same things. Mm-hmm. That's just. But again, keep going on topic with Jiberty. Okay. I just feel like at this point, after they broke up and he was with Mia, it just felt like a slap in the face. And so.
Definitely was a slap in the face to me.
I don't think it was right of her to come at Mia because Mia didn't know the situation. She didn't know that JT had a baby. He didn't tell her. Even though they got together right after she gave birth. But she didn't know that he had a baby. She didn't know him and Liberty was exes. So, like, she just coming into the situation, like, trying to find friends, trying to just, have this good experience with school, not knowing what she just walked into. So, I don't blame Mia for the situation. I just don't like, I don't know, I just didn't like the whole situation. Oh, and then when JT died, I'm really not trying to keep going to the part where JT dies, but that's really, I think, what effed me up about Mia was how she was like, he was with me. At this point, she knows the story now. She knows they had a child. She knows that they were together for a long period of time. And for her to be like...
And at that point, Liberty was actually nice to her.
Yeah. I'm like, I should get his locker. I should get all his stuff. I don't want to call her the B word. But like, girl, you was only with him for 2 seconds.
Even though, let's take away the relationship. Toby should be getting his stuff.
Oh, that's kind of true. Yeah, that is kind of true. But I think Toby was trying to give it to Liberty.
I'm pretty sure Liberty would agree. Yeah. Toby, you should get his stuff. And then Liberty, you should get his stuff. Oh, let's split it. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Me, you shouldn't have nothing to do with it.
You can get like a stuffed animal or something.
Yeah. Whatever he gave to your daughter.
Yeah, keep it.
Yeah, that's
yours.
That's yours. Because I'm pretty sure he probably gave her stuff, the little girl.
Exactly. And I feel like people was just like, when Liberty was kind of upset about it, it was like, why you upset? You don't want to give the baby up for adoption. You don't want to... Y'all can't tell me that if y'all saw that, y'all would just be like, oh, look, JT found a new life. Like, no, that would upset me to my core.
people invalidating Liberty's feelings would piss me off.
Yeah.
It wasn't Mia. Mia was like she didn't know.
Yeah.
So I don't like Mia as it is, so whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't blame her for the whole her going out with JT thing right after Liberty gave birth. That's definitely JT's fault. But I do feel like Liberty was thrown a shorthand.
Yeah.
Dealt a shorthand, I think that's what it's called. Because that wasn't fair to her.
It wasn't.
Like, you gonna go sit there and be with somebody else after I don't pull your big ass hair baby out my vagina.
Exactly.
And then you gonna go with somebody else? Okay, if you don't want to be together, fine.
Exactly.
That's fine. But hey, wait till I recover. Wait till my downstairs area is better. Wait till it's just better before you do it.
And when it was better, though, she freaking went with Damien, so obviously it wasn't that much better. Lord Jesus. I would have rather her been with Toby at that point.
We don't have to talk about Damien. You talking about problematic people on this one. Damien, I don't like you. I don't understand what hole you had on Manny for a short second, Emma, and Liberty. I don't understand.
I didn't see it. Like, I feel like other than Sean, Emma had a lot of, like, relationships with, like, people she didn't like. Or did she?
What?
I just feel like she had this thing of, like, a back and forth. Like, that was, like, attractive to her.
And maybe that's what she into. I don't know. Maybe she into people that she don't like.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
It's always Sean. That's it.
But the crazy thing is, Mandy was the smart one in that situation.
That's why I said
she
for
was
that
done
short
with him
second.
For a day. I feel like she was with him for like 5 seconds and was like, "Nope, I'm done with you."
This is a bad idea.
Yeah.
But you know why she knew? It's because she had the most experience out of all.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Why y'all keep on talking about, oh, Mimi's a whore. No, she just had more experience than y'all, and that's okay. We need to not. Y'all need to know the definition of what a whore or a slut is.
Yeah,
because I don't know.
Even though I didn't like the blonde hair moment, I'm sorry I gotta bring it up, but the whole blonde hair bangs moment, that's when she really, I feel like that's when she really started, like,
yeah, but when she went,
she was like Mama Mandy. She was up in there.
When she went to black after that, then she really knew after
she was
that.
She was like a teacher vibe, you know, or a mom. Yeah, I really like that vibe.
And that's why I felt like her and Jay getting married would have been perfect instead of Emma and Spinner.
I guess.
I know you don't like them, but I mean,
Can Craig come back?
What? No.
So they can get married.
No! Craig was with his lady.
Oh, yeah.
And kissing Ellie, cheating on his lady.
Exactly. How you gonna cheat on that beautiful girl with another beautiful girl, but you know she was struggling? Why would you do that?
Ellie was like, she had to have her moment with Craig to get over her thing with Craig. Yeah. Which I understand. I mean, and I'm sure the lady knew that. That's why she probably.
Yeah, he probably told her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I kissed her. But Craig aside, Damien aside, I felt sorry for my girl Liberty because she ain't deserved that.
She didn't. And
then come to find out, oh yeah, her and JT gonna go back together, and then he dies.
I can't. Rock this town
on her birthday.
Traumatic episode.
On her birthday.
I can't.
Cause that was her birthday party, wasn't it?
Yes. Two traumatic things. Cause I feel like, cause I was coming up with stuff to post for Instagram, and I was like talking about how JT died right in front of Emma's house. Oh, that's also traumatic. So, girl's birthday, probably never recover on her birthday. Probably every birthday, she probably hates it. And then Emma can't even walk outside her house. Like, imagine that. What?
I say Emma's house been through a lot.
Yeah.
Poor Liberty's birthday is ruined.
Yes.
Every year. Toby
lost his
only friend.
Yeah.
A.K.A. brother. I mean, everybody lost something. Only person that didn't really lose anything was Sean.
I mean, he was still friends with JT. It wasn't like he didn't lose his friend.
Yeah, but everybody was crying to tears, but Sean.
You telling me you didn't feel? I felt Sean's emotion. I feel like the most I felt emotion from. Not saying like I didn't feel emotion from nobody else, but Manny and freaking Sean. I don't know why. I feel like every time I see the episode, like this gonna sound so weird, but Liberty was in shock, so I feel like she wasn't really showing too much emotion. So I didn't really feel nothing from her. I was just like, oh my god, Liberty. Emma, she was still kind of drunk, so I felt like her crying was just like, I'm crying because I'm still kind of drunk.
That probably 10 in the morning.
Then Toby, I feel like didn't react too much because of Liberty, but Manny,
he also was in shock.
Manny and freaking Sean, I feel like I felt the most like I'm not the type of person that cries during shows and stuff, but when I go back and watch it, I feel like that's what makes me more emotional. Is because I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, all the stuff that Manny and JT they was in a relationship. You know, they had that whole friendship even after that, and I'm just thinking like, oh my god, just imagine how she's feeling right now. And you could tell she was really upset. Mm-hmm. And then Sean, even though they probably like we didn't really see them super close. He saved
them from the little pill thing.
Saved them. Like he was gonna die then. He was like, I saved his life for him to die right then. But I think
that was a cute moment between Sean and Toby and JT.
But I just felt like, I don't know, them two specifically, I just feel like I feel their emotions. Maybe it was because, like, you know, they probably was crying because Ryan Cooley was going to be leaving the show anyway.
Yeah, I think that was more of their emotions. Because they probably was closer outside of the...
Yeah, because, you know, what's his name? Daniel Clark and Ryan Cooley, they did a show where, like, Ryan Cooley was like a robot or something. Like, they did a show where they was the two main characters. So, I feel like that could have been, like you just said, it could have been they was more close than some of the other people. Because you also noticed they weren't in the...
I had to admit.
They weren't in the Drake music video.
Yeah. I'm upset.
Conspiracy.
50,000 on my head is disrespect.
How you didn't have... But they tried to say that Daniel Clark didn't get an invitation at all. And, like, there's some sort of beef. I ain't trying to say it's a beef. And then they tried to say no. Ryan Cooley thought it was a fake email.
Yeah. Which I believe that. Yeah. I would have thought it was fake too, not gonna lie.
But how you don't have
me in years?
I was about to say, how you don't have his contact. Like, if... I don't know. It's weird because I like Drake. You know, Aubrey Graham, I like Drake. But I felt like if I knew him before he was Drake, I wouldn't be, like, super, like... Because you know how some people are like, oh, that's Beyonce. How you not, like, probably Kelly Rowland and Michelle, like, how you not... That's Beyonce. How you don't know all this stuff? And so that's probably the same thing. They like, how you don't have Drake? Like, if I knew Drake, I'd be his best friend. I have his phone number.
But Kelly Rowland and Beyonce are friends.
Oh, yeah, I know they friends. But I mean, like... Well, yeah, I guess I probably wasn't the best
Michelle,
example.
like, their friend, too. But, like, she come in when she want to come in.
I guess I wasn't the best example, but I can't think of somebody that was like, quote unquote, way more famous than like that. They'll be like, oh, that's so and so.
Jackson.
But who?
With his brothers.
But that's his brothers. I'm talking about somebody that's friends. That's why I use Beyonce. I don't know.
I'm trying to think.
The other girl that was in Destiny's Child.
I guess.
But they were still close, weren't they?
Yeah, sure.
Now, who would be the super famous one? That they'd be like, how you don't still be in contact with them? I feel like they about the same amount. That's why I use Beyonce. That's the first thing that came in my head.
Beyonce was a good one, though.
Yeah. But if y'all get my analogy, I'm mostly just talking about, like, it is kind of, like, how at that point do you not... You're Drake. How do you not, like, have Ryan Cooley's phone number? Like, I feel like you can just easily be like, hey, call Ryan Cooley. Hey, call Daniel Clark. Hey, call, you know, Cassie Steele. Call these people for me. Cassie Steele, I think, and him was still friends. And, Andrea. Mm-hmm. I never feel like I know how to say her name. Because some people pronounce it differently. But the girl that played Hazel, they were still friends. They still friends, too. Mm-hmm. So he probably could easily be like, you know, y'all want to be in my music video?
But that's the thing, though. I don't think Aubrey Graham Drake used his resources to his advantage.
Yeah.
You friends with Cassie Steele, so that means you can get the girl who played Emma, what's her name?
Miriam McDonald.
They still was talking. Then you got people that Miriam McDonald was talking to. Got them people. You could have got a whole bunch of people after that.
Exactly.
Same thing with Andra Lewis.
Yeah, Andrea.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if we say your name terribly.
She knew the lady that played Terry, who played Terry.
Christina Schmidt.
Christina Schmidt. All them all these people's
connections.
Numbers.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm.
But hey,
saying.
call Lil Ricky on my block reference. I just think of like somebody because I feel like they had to have nicknames. You know, like call Lauren Collins. That's paid.
I mean, what you got Toby there, you got Danny and Derek there. You
Was Toby there?
Yeah, Toby was there.
Bro, I'm late.
Yeah, Rick there.
Yeah, you had Rick. I feel like he made sure he had Rick there.
Because Rick and Toby was hanging out. You had
I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I know his real name. It's like it starts with an E. Forgive me, I don't know how to pronounce it.
You had the
you
guy
had all
who
these
played
people.
Connor. He know a lot of people.
Yeah, apparently he know Kalani.
Yeah, come
cool.
on now. You had the girl who played Ashley. You had Craig. You had
I like how
Ellie
you really
and Marco.
You really naming everybody. I think we get your point.
But I'm just saying you had all these people, and not one of those people had Daniel Clark's number or Ryan Cooley's number. Or the guy who played Jay.
I think Daniel Clark was a, I don't know if he still is, but I think he's like a news anchor.
That's even worse to me.
So, like, I feel like you can get his contact information.
Easily. You know, Bobby can get it through Facebook.
Let's not start no beef. We're not trying to start no beef right now.
All I know
make
is,
the beef worse.
if I'm making a Degrassi reunion, everybody's going to be there.
Yeah.
Even people that, the characters I don't like, Peter, is going to be there.
I guess.
I mean, because they not their characters.
That's true, yeah. That's true. That's true. Give you a benefit of the doubt. But, okay.
Everybody from Degrassi Next Generation would have been there. Because if we're going off the...
Drake ain't got that type of money. I mean, he do, but
I just mean everybody that Jimmy dealt with was going to be there. That's what I mean.
Oh, I'll say
and I think the only reason why the guy who played Connor was there because everybody said, "Oh, he looked like Drake."
That's true. That's true. But okay, wrapping the Jiberty thing up, I just feel like they're up there with they're definitely one of my in-game couples. I don't feel like I talk about them as much as I do like Eclair or Simba and stuff like that. Mostly just because I feel like everybody consists. I've never met anybody who said I don't like Jiberty, I don't like JT and Liberty. So that's why I just feel like I never bring it up because I've heard people say they didn't like Eclair. I keep trying to say their names separately, but I keep saying their ship name. But Eli and Claire, and I heard some people say they didn't like Sean and Emma, or they just don't care about them. I've never heard one bad thing about Jiberty or JT and Liberty.
I've never heard nobody say they didn't like Sean and Emma, but I heard people say they didn't like Eli and Claire. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up because I've never heard that.
But I just felt like they're a really cute couple. I really wish they didn't. I said this in another podcast episode, but I feel like if she didn't get pregnant,
they would have been together and he would be alive.
I was about to say, yeah, he wouldn't have died. I don't know if they still would have been together. I'm mostly just talking about, I feel like he wouldn't have died. Maybe they would have broke up and gotten back together, or I don't know. But at least he wouldn't have died. I know the actor wanted to go to college and, do his own thing.
Had to send him off.
But, yeah, I don't know. It felt so traumatic.
Because, what was the point? Because the dude never came up again.
Yeah, and I don't know. It just felt like they could have did something else. Maybe Ryan Cooley said, "Hey, I should die in this episode." I don't know.
He could have died in a car crash.
It could have been something we didn't have to see it.
A plane crash, leaving Toronto.
Yeah,
I'm just naming a random Canadian.
And I don't feel like what was the story behind it? Like I feel like they tried to do this whole story of like, don't be bullies. This is how people could die. I don't know.
Or you could have been like, oh, don't be a comedian because that's how you can die. Because he literally was like being his comedic self like he always do, and he died because of it.
But yeah, I just feel like I really like them as a couple.
Was he like having a bad day? Is he mad because he's a redhead? I don't understand.
Well, he didn't go that hard. All he said was, "Why you peeing on my car?" And then like made a joke about him peeing on his car because it's a piece of crap. That's what he said. He didn't say nothing about the dude.
That's what I'm saying. What made him in the back?
Oh, you talking about the redhead guy?
Yeah. What made him back? He said, "Oh, I'm gonna stab somebody today."
Because he was.
And another thing, how he knew what artery to sever?
He didn't. Because I think he just did like this. He shoved it in there.
No, because the way he did it, it was a small ass knife. It wasn't even a big knife.
He probably did this before.
And didn't get away. And he got away with it again. Because he didn't go to jail.
Yes, he did.
How?
He went to jail. We didn't see him anymore. Johnny literally said he went to jail. He said my friend went to juvie or something.
Wait a minute. he murdered somebody and he just went to juvie?
I said jail and then I said juvie. I don't know, ma'am. I don't remember word for word.
I hope not.
They didn't go through it no more. They just said he went to jail.
Life in prison.
Anyway, Jiberty, I feel like wrapping it up. I feel like Jiberty just feels like they're a great couple. I've never heard nobody say no bad words about them. I feel like they had a great connection. They started off as friends, ended up being together, and their relationship, I feel like, had no flaws, you know, other than her getting pregnant. But then, you know, that kind of on JT, and that's where it went downhill. But yeah, that's really all my final words about it. Love Jiberty.
I'm still reeling over this death. This don't make sense to me. This don't make sense. You had a small pocket knife. It wasn't even like a real big knife or whatever. It didn't even look that sharp. I don't understand. And
that might have been how it probably was rusty. Sorry, I had to make it worse.
It's even worse to me.
I had to make it worse.
He didn't die from the stab wound. He died from the infection.
Yep.
Ooh, he died that quick though.
Ugh.
Is the question.
Probably not. We saw his eyes open and him breathing when Liberty found him.
Yeah, that's true. So technically, he probably died in her arms, which is even worse to me. And he had like blood come out his back and stuff like that. I'm sorry, y'all.
I literally had bad dreams about that scene. I just want to bring it. I really was like, even though I make a joke about it, I really was traumatic. Traumatized.
It really was traumatic seeing as a young person because you didn't see death a lot in kids show or teen shows at that time.
Yeah.
I think all the shows that we've seen that's outside of the U.S., like Dance Academy, Sam, I literally cried.
Yeah, I think we both was affected. We needed a minute after that.
Yeah, because stuff like that is so real. Because stuff like that could happen to you in real life, and it's not a lot of American shows back at around that time when we were younger like that.
Yeah, because it was like, it was so cute.
Like, if it was a death scene, it was more like they were sick, or maybe they got into
Except for the OC. People said that was traumatizing.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the OC.
We didn't watch the OC. I think the only type of teen show we watched like that was 90210, but that was it.
I don't think nobody died in there.
Yeah.
Except for the dude,
no main characters died like that.
Yeah, I forgot his name on the show, but Darcy from Annie Clark? No, that's Fiona. Oh my god, why can't? Oh, Shanae Grimes. She was on 90210, and her brother, in real life, I don't know if she has a brother in real life, but her character on the show, maybe her name was Annie
in the show,
on 90210. And so her brother on the show got hit by a truck or something and got paralyzed. That's like the most traumatizing.
That's the thing. They were either paralyzed or they survived it and they had some sort of injury. It never was really death.
Yeah. And
because death is so ending. Like, once you're dead, that's it. And like those shows showed you once you die, that's it. Yeah. And I think that was more traumatic for me than actually seeing the death, like seeing it in my dreams and stuff. Mine was more like, I'm never going to see this character again. Like, if they talk about them, it's just going to be memories. It's not going to be anything new about them. So that's what I feel like is horrible to me, because they ain't going to be, all their legacy is going to be stuff they did before, not stuff they're going to do after. So that's why I feel like I'm still not over it, but like I'm over it. But
that's your final thoughts about Jiberty?
No, I still was on the death thing. You didn't let me finish, and I still don't understand how he killed him with a freaking pocket knife. But okay, I digress. But my final thoughts about Jiberty.
I'm sorry, what did you do? I'm sorry, no, I'm not even gonna make that joke.
So they trying to think he like a whiz with a pocket knife. Get out of here. But my final thoughts with Jiberty is that I find them very sweet. I feel like the starting point of him pretending to be gay, even though now you really can't do that now. But
you couldn't do it back then. You know how awkward it was back then. I guess you could do it. People used it as a joke, but that was so. Even back then, it was still cringe.
Yeah, it's
problematic. But.
It is it's more cringe than problematic back then, but now it's definitely cringe and definitely problematic. And because I'm talking about my feelings as a kid, it was just cringy to me because I was like, "What is going on here? I don't understand this."
Toby did not agree to that.
So when starting with that, I felt like after that whole situation, their friendship was very sweet. I felt like he was there for her. He supported her, and she supported him, and she was there for him. And then when they got together, same thing. And then when she got pregnant, I felt like it went downhill after that. But it still was a cute moments between them. Even after they broke up and he was with Mia, it still was cute moments between them. And then the whole bittersweet ending of them, I still think it was sweet because it went full circle because he died in her arms. The one he loved. And it reminds you of like Scott and Allison, when Allison died on Teen Wolf.
No. I'm not even going to start talking about that. And they about to come out a whole freaking ass movie where she coming back to life. I'm sorry. She's going to be in the movie, so I mean she's either going to come back to life or she's going to be some sort of spirit, which that's worse. I'm sorry, Teen Wolf. I'm excited about the movie, but I'm also not.
And Styles not going to even be in it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to watch it. But I'm just using that as an example because of how the whole full circle thing is.
Yeah.
That's what they call it, full circle. So, in my opinion, in-game couple will always be in-game couple. If I was Liberty and my JT died, I don't know if I would be with somebody else.
Ever?
Yeah, because he gave her enough love to last for a lifetime.
No, just like the Degrassi mini. That was cute. I ain't even gonna. We shouldn't even talk about it. If you want to watch it, look up the Degrassi mini.
I can tell you this. If you just watch the show and don't watch any of the Degrassi minis, you won't feel what we feel. But if you actually sit there and watch the show and also the Degrassi minis, you will feel exactly how I feel. Like I just said, a love that would last for a lifetime. If you watch the Degrassi mini, you'll know what I'm
What's two? Because it's the one after the funeral or something. Yeah. That was a really good one too because I feel like we also saw the relationship between JT and Paige and JT. Paige was there, I think, and Danny. But like I said, I'm not going to go into it.
So that's what I'm saying. Watch the Degrassi minis, y'all. Even though it's like, it don't take that long.
It's really like 5-10 minutes. 10 minutes at the most, I think.
It's really good. It's really good. That's like the best thing Degrassi has ever done outside of course, the show Degrassi is the Degrassi minis.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep cutting you off.
Well, I'm done now.
Oh, okay. I don't know what the next episode will be.
It's Spain.
Oh, Spain. Oh, my God.
Yeah, Spinner and Jane.
That's the next episode.
Yeah, you do the outro.
All right. Well, thank y'all for watching. This has been the Jiberty episode. I made this little cute collage. But yes, thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. And I have been Michaela.
And I'm Amber.
And this is Degrassi, the Class of Nostalgia. Bye.